Hello. Okay. So yesterday, our ellipses were centered at 0, 0, right? Today, we're going to have a different center. My center is going to be at this HK, right? HK, we know H is left and right, K is up and down. When it's in the formula, it's on the numerator with the X in parentheses, just like it would be for a parabola or we did for the circle, right? And it always equals 1. So it's the same. Remember, opposite sign. Same formula for me to find the focus. Okay. We're just going to start writing with example 4. Okay. So what I'm going to do is let's talk about first the problem because it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good because it's not in my fraction form for ellipses. I've got a 4 in front. I'm not going to distribute it. I've got a 9 here. I'm not going to distribute that. So what I'm going to do is this right here, this 36, I divide everything by 36. Remember how in a ellipse, it has to equal 1. So you'll see that I did that here. I divided by 36. And yeah, it's expanded. That's good. So wanted to let you know, hey, 4 times 9 equals 36. That's no coincidence. So 4 divided by 36 is 1/9. 9 divided by 36 is 1/4. So the 4 is on the denominator. So we can see that H is 2 and K is 4, right? So our center is 2, 4. And center, let's see. I need to start graphing it. My A is 3, my B is 2, and the C squared is A squared minus B squared. So C squared is 5, C equals rad 5. Rad 5 is about 2.2, okay? Center, A, B, it's all written there. So everything's like on the paper for you. This more is an example that you could just watch. So I'm gonna go down and I'm gonna start graphing. And this is different. Let me get it cleaned up for you. So here we go. This is going to get in the way. Okay. So my A is 3. That means I'm going to go left and right. My B, remember, was 2. That tells me how to move up and down, correct? My focus is rad 5, which is the same as like 2.2. So center, 2, 4. So I'm going to plot that first step. Over 2, up 4. So go ahead and plot that. Yesterday life was really easy because my ellipse was centered at 0, 0. And I had just like a vertex that was like 3 plus or minus 3. So I just go over 3 and left 3. But when my center is in a different location, I still have to do these movements, but my ordered pair for the vertex is going to be different. It's not going to be easy like 3, 0. So if I have to go 3 to the left and 3 to the right from my center, 1, 2, 3. This is one of my vertexes. 3 to the left, 1, 2, 3. It's one of my vertexes. Co-vertex, the B, the shorter. In this case, it's shorter. So 2 up, a little bit off the graph, 2 down. co-vertex, co-vertex. So you'll make your beautiful shape as elliptical and smooth as possible, right? Now, I can write down the ordered pairs for my co-vertex and vertex. I'm going to do that. My vertex has 2 points. -1, 4, and 5, 4. My co-vertex, 2 to the right, 2 up, 2, 2. And 2 to the right, 6. 6 up. Now, my foci. I know that my foci is rad 5 away from the center. So I'm going to say this again slow. My focus is 2.2 on the left side of my center and on the right side of my center. So I'm going to go over 2.2. So it's like I'm already at 2, right? So I'm going to go over 2.2 more. That's going to be a foci. So I could write, that's what this is, 2 plus rad 5, 2 plus 2.2, and up 4. That's the ordered pair of this focus. It's really 1, 2, 3, 4.2. Up 4. And now my other focus is to the left. So I'm at 2. I could just, I'm going to just move over 2.2. But I could say 2 minus 2.2. 1, 2. 2 minus 2.2. And that's where this comes from. 2 minus rad 5. Negative 0.2 and up 4. Questions on this one? Okay, you got to ask if you have a question. Example 5, I have to do some extra stuff. So I'm going to move it over. Now, yeah, everything is listed here. It's all easy to read. But if you read this, are you really going to learn it on your own? I don't know. And that would be a really bad teacher for me to go, this is how you do it, read it. I don't do that. So I'm going to write all the steps out and talk through it, which means you really don't need to write anything right now. Just look at me, watch what I'm doing. You can compare it to what's happening over here, but this completing the square process is a little complicated. So, it's got a 4 in front. So I want to make sure that you're watching and listening and absorbing it instead of trying to keep up with me and write. It's already written, so don't write, just watch. This is in standard form. And I have to complete the square in order for me to get the parentheses with the square, the denominator. Like this is not ready to go. So last week when we did circles, I gave you problems like this and I said, you have to complete the square to get it in the proper form. So I have to do the same thing here. When we completed the square, I got the X's together and I got the Y's together. It was like a double complete the square. So I'm going to put 4x squared plus 24x. I'm going to leave my space for my b divided by 2 squared. I'm going to group my y's together. And I'm going to move the 21 to the right-hand side. Because 21 is my c, so I get that over to the right. Now, problem, this 4 here, completing the square can't happen if there's a coefficient. I want a 1, so I've got to factor out and this is going to be my b over 2. So 4 taken out. That means my b is now 6 plus 6 over 2 squared. Nothing happens to my y squared because it looks fine, but I can do my b divided by 2 squared. Now, remember last week when we were completing the square and when I got my b divided by 2, I had to add it to the other side, right? So this 4 that I factored out is still part of the trinomial. So really what's happening is I am multiplying, this is going to be obviously 3 squared and 9, right? This 4 times 9 needs to be added to the other side. And the reason that the 4 is added with the 9 is because I factored out a 4, and if I were to distribute it and multiply it back in, I would get 36. And so that's what I should be adding to both sides. I'm also needing to add this -1 squared, which is -1 times -1, which is 1, to both sides.
Oh, Ms. Grant.
Yep.
So you would only multiply the 4 by 9, right?
Yeah, because I normally would add 9 to this side, but because the 4 was factored out, would need to be re-multiplied back in because it is 36 really, you know, if I were to multiply it out again. So I still keep the 4 out because I can't complete the square with it in. What is this? X squared plus 6x plus 9. What's my factored form? X squared plus 6x plus 9. So parentheses, it's binomial, and then I put a squared. What is it? X squared plus 6x plus 9. X something squared. I need a volunteer. Hello. One of you know?
Would it be x squared plus 6x plus 9?
Yeah, but then I need to factor it. X plus 3, right? Because isn't x plus 3, x plus 3, isn't that x squared plus 6x plus 9? Okay. What's my y?
X minus 1.
Y minus 1, yep, squared. Y minus 1, y minus 1. And what's -21 plus 36 plus 1? -21 plus 36 plus 1. I can't do this with nobody volunteering. The video takes forever. We're going to go all the way to the bell rings if you want. Why aren't you volunteering? Speak. You have to say something. You already helped. Okay, are you hearing me?
16.
Thank you. It's an addition problem. Like your second grade teachers would be so sad. Now, this is in a better format because I've got my parentheses, but in order for me to get an ellipse, I have to have an equal 1. So I'm going to divide by 16 on all the pieces. So 4 divided by 16, this is going to be x plus 3 squared over 4. This is going to be just y minus 1 squared over 16 equals 1. So that's how I got that formula. Now I have to find all the features and I have to graph it. So I'm gonna go back to, there it is. Here's the formula. Okay, so here we go. Dun, dun, dun. The center. -3, +1. Okay, graph it. Then my vertex is, well, what's A, what's B? I gotta know that, right? What's A, what's B? So my A is gonna be 2, right? B is 4. Ooh, the B is bigger. This is going to be a vertical ellipse. So go up and down 4, right and left 2. From my center, up 4, down 4, to left, to right. Are my foci going to be along this line, or are my foci going to be along this line? And how do we know? This is a really good question. The foci, how do we know where they're going to line up? Someone volunteer.
They're going to be up and down because you have to move 3.5 units, but then if you go to the right, you'll be out of the ellipse.
Okay, good. So you thought that because you knew how big the foci was, that would help you figure out. Right. Another way, the way is the foci are always on the major axis. Well, what's major? The major is the one that's just the longest, the bigger number. That's up and down. My foci, by the way, 4 minus 16, a squared minus b squared. The absolute value of -12. Radical 12. Well, radical 12 is about 3.5. So I know that from my center, I need to go 3.5 in both directions along the major axis. What's the major axis? The longest one. It happens to be up and down this time. 1, 2, 3.5. Oh, let me label, sorry, vertex, vertex, co-vertex, co-vertex. There's everything.
Ms. Grant, how'd you get the A and B?
Oh, what's 4? Because you know how this is a squared? So what squared is 4? 2 squared. So you like square root the denominator.
Oh, okay. Thank you. And then how do you get the denominator?
I got this denominator, if you look up above, because I had to divide 16 by everything. When I was completing the square, did you watch that? How I divided 16. It's also up above, typed out. You divide 16 by everything. So the 16 was on the denominator for the y. Okay, my vertex, just easy. 1, 2, 3, up 5. -3, 5. -3, 1, 2, 3. So I'm just looking at the dot and saying, what's its ordered pair? My covertex. -1 up 1, -5 up 1. Okay. Oh, the ordered pair of the foci. Sorry. -3, 1, 2, 3, 4.5. -3, -2.5. Questions? Okay. I'm going to move on. There's only one problem at the bottom that I want to talk about. I think I want to do the more difficult one for you. So that means I want to do number 2. I'm going to have to complete the square again. No prob, Bob. I can do it. So you're not going to do number 1. I do, though, want to make sure we're going to just get it into equation form. We're not going to graph it. I want to practice the completing the square. On your homework tonight, you do have problems that you need to graph, but remember I put that graph paper in Google Classroom so that you would have that resource for you for whatever day you needed it. Next week, next year, whatever. Okay, group the X's together, group the Y's together. Plus 72x, leave a space for my B stuff. Y squared minus 2y, leave a space for my b divided by 2, negative 136. Okay. There's a 9 that's leading my x squared. I have to factor that out. I don't have to do anything with my y squared. Let's make it blue because that's the pattern that I did earlier. 8 divided by 2 squared. Negative 2 divided by 2 squared. So it's blue, blue, blue. Four squared. So this 16, right? This 16 and this 9 are the ones that need to be added to the other side, 9 times 16. Yeah. Yeah. All right, there you go. Catch up. All right. Factor this trinomial. Nine times 16 is 144, in case you wanted to know. But you also have calculators, you can do that. What is x squared plus 8x plus 16 when I have to factor it?
X plus 4 squared.
Good job. X plus 4 squared. What is y squared minus 2y plus 1 when you have to factor?
Y plus 1 squared.
Y, I'm actually going to say it's y minus 1. Negative 136 plus 144 plus 1. 9. Then I have to divide by 9 to get the ellipse formula. So my ellipse formula is x plus 4 squared over 1. I have to put the 1. I have to have a denominator in the ellipse formula. Plus y minus 1 squared over 9 equals my 1 that I wanted. So my center is HK, negative 4, positive 1. My, what? If I were to graph it, I would plot this point, negative 4, 1, and then I would go, this is my minor axis, this 1, I would go 1 up and down because you know how the major, well, I'm sorry. Under the B is the bigger number. That means that I'm going to go up and down 3, left and right 1. If I had to graph it. I'm not asking you to graph it. You have plenty of graphing to do in homework, so we're not going to get crazy.
So for the center, it's just opposite of H, opposite of K.
Yeah, and it's all the opposite of H and opposite of K because that's like if you set it equal to 0 and solve, you would get the opposite number. And it's the same for HK for parabolas and circles.